Okay, we are ready to move on to English today. We've been doing some really good writing with sentences and making them not so repetitive, combining them when we can. Today, we're kind of doing the opposite. Are going to have some sentences that need split up because they have too much in them. They have two sentences in there. It's called a run-on sentence, okay? So go ahead and grab your English book and you're going to rip out page 291 and 292 is on the back. Okay, and we're gonna look at that yellow box at the top. The yellow box says, sometimes sentences that should be written separately are joined. This mistake is called a run-on sentence. So there's too many subject parts and predicate parts together in one sentence, and they should really be split up. Okay, let's look at the run-on sentence that's in the yellow box, the sample. On Sunday, the people go to church. Tomorrow they work. Let me read that again. On Sunday, the people go to church. Tomorrow they work. It sounds like there's two separate thoughts in that sentence. On Sunday, the people go to church. What do? They go to church. Who goes? People on Sunday. Tomorrow they work. What do? Work. When? Tomorrow. See how they have two sentences really together. They're run-ons, okay? They're running into each other, but they really need their own punctuation and their own capital letter. I've written a couple run-on sentences here. Easter theme for the first one. Christ is risen, he is alive. Christ is risen, he is alive. Boy, that's an exciting message that we have to share with everyone. But this is a run-on sentence. Where would we divide this? Christ is risen, he is alive. Christ is? Well, that's not a whole sentence. Christ is risen, he? No, that he makes it weird at the end. So first we need to say, okay, where are the sentences? Christ is risen. Does that tell me who does something? Yeah, Christ. What does he do? Well, he's risen. How about the next one? He is alive. Who is alive? He. What is he? Alive. So we're really seeing two sentences right here. We can split it right here. So in Christ is risen, what's the predicate part? Remember, is the linking verb, so here is where the predicate part would begin. What's the subject? Who's risen? Christ. Let's look at this one. He is alive. What's the predicate part? Is alive. Good. What's the subject? He. So then we would write it, Christ is risen, period, and then put a capital he is alive and a period. Okay, we would add a period here after risen. We would make this one capitalized, and then we would keep the sentences separate. So those would be correct sentences. So first you kind of have to find what the sentences are that's been smushed together here in this run-on sentence, and then split them up into subject part and predicate part. Make sure they both have it. And then you're going to punctuate it correctly and put a capital. Let's look at this one. The frog is green, he jumps high. Almost ran out of room. The frog is green, he jumps high. Where is our sentence? Yeah, the frog is green. What is he? Green. Who is? The frog. He jumps high. Who? Who jumps high? He. What does he do? Jumps high. Okay, so we know we're going to split it here. Okay, so we can write this one. We're going to add our period here. And then we're going to bring this one down and add a capital he. Jumps high. And we're going to still stick a period on the end of that. The frog is green, period. He jumps high. Those are two separate thoughts. So we got to split this combined run-on sentence to fix the mistake and make it 2 good sentences. This is a little bit trickier. Let's look at number 1. First, the direction diamond says, circle the predicate parts. I think the first direction should be, where are the sentences at? You kind of have to see where the sentences are before we can find the predicate parts. So Mrs. Perry addition to the direction diamond, where are the 2 sentences? Then circle the predicate parts. Is risen, is alive. We're going to find the verb. We're going to circle the frog is, this is the verb, green, we're going to circle it. Underline the subject parts. So what's this? And he jumps is the verb, so high. So we're going to circle the predicate parts and underline the subject parts, the whole thing, in the sentences. Then we're going to write it as 2 separate sentences. Let's look at number 1. People go to church, the men sit on benches. What are the 2 sentences there? The people go, no. The people go to church, the men? No, that doesn't make sense. So the 2 groups, people go to church, the men sit on benches. That's the 2 ideas. So now we're ready to circle the predicate parts. The people go to church. What do they do? Go to church. Circle. Who goes to church? People. Underline. Let's look at the second sentence. The men sit on benches. What do? Sit is the verb, on benches. So circle that. Who sits on benches? The men. So you're going to underline that. Now we're going to write it on the line together. As 2 separate sentences. So remember, we make sure we put the period on the end of the first one and capitalize the first word of the second sentence. Don't forget the period on that either. So it's capital people go to church, period. Capital the T, the men sit on the benches, period. Pause it and write it. All right, number 2. The walls are brown, the roof is green. The walls are brown, the roof is green. How are we going to split that up? The 2 thoughts are, the walls are brown, the roof is green. Those are our 2 thoughts that should be separated. So we have to find the subject part and predicate part. The walls are brown. What are they? Are brown. Circle. What are brown? The walls. Underline. Now let's look at the next sentence. The roof is green. What is the roof? Is green. Remember that linking verb, green. Circle. What's the subject? The roof. Subject part would be the roof. Underline. So we write, the walls are brown, period. Capital T for the, roof is green, period. Pause and write. Now, number 3's direction diamond says, choose the best way to separate the run-on sentence. The people love God, they sing to God. So you're going to have to decide, what are the 2 thoughts there? How am I going to split that up the best? The people, period. Love God, they sing to God, period. The people love God, period. They sing to God, period. The people love God, they, period. Sing to God, period. Which one are the 2 thoughts? The 2 thoughts are, the people love God, they sing to God. So that would be the second one to fill in. Number 4, women read the Bible, the children listen quietly. Oops, I kind of gave you a hint when I read that one. It splits up. The women read the Bible, period. The children listen quietly. So pick that first one would be the correct answer, because that's the two thoughts that accidentally got smushed into a run-on sentence. Okay, on the back, you're practicing the same thing again and join in a sentence on the bottom. Okay, that's what we're doing for English today. Have a super duper day.